International cast in the city, Terry Shropshire, the first King James. We are rolling out AM. We've got a great show today and definitely want to thank you for tuning in. For all those tuning in, Cast in the City has a famous announcement to make.
And there we go.
And we got our front.
The sun is shining, nice and bright. The birds are chirping,
and I'm excited.
Time to get ready
for another day.
No one can stop us. We gon' learn to play. Every day we learn and play.
We do our best, so we'll be great.
You do your best,
and I do mine.
So let's get ready. Cause it's about that time. Good morning, you. Good morning, how do you do? Good morning, time to be great. Good morning, time to wake. Good morning,
your dance and play.
Good morning,
so start the day.
Good morning, open your eyes. Good morning,
reach for the sky.
Good morning, morning to you. Good morning, morning, how do you do? Good morning, morning to you. Good morning, how do you do?
Good morning.
You see me on my grind.
Stars got to shine.
I'm a supernova.
Yeah, you see me taking over.
Yeah, I'm on the move. I got a way to strike to it. So let me hear you say,
every day we go to work and play. Hey, it is rolling out AM back. We love the front. Good morning, everybody. How are you? It is rolling out AM, and I am once again Munson Steve with Cast in the City and Romeo International and First King James from Akron. What is going on, everybody? The party is on. It is 2. Oh boy, we've got such an exciting day today. Gonna learn. There's a little mental health thing going on. This thing is getting mental, Cass. How is it affecting your mental, Romeo? This COVID-19, this pandemic, the deaths unrecorded. I mean, they talk about people dying during the pandemic. Now we got people we have to get and hear about King James that, 2 months later, after Ahmaud Arbery's mother has suffered, she finds out that he was murdered. And all of a sudden now, a young boy, we find out.
Right. I honestly got to tell the AM morning show that every day is a challenge. I can't even front. I'm not even going to put on a flex. It's like every day you hear something new, and then the next day you hear something new. I just recently experienced, there was a venue in Atlanta that opened up 4 weeks ago, and then last weekend, the head security passed away from COVID-19. Now, I'm not trying to equate A plus B, but man, it's like you hear something new every day. I don't think people take it as serious, Cass. What you think? I still think they don't take it serious.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a lot on your mental health. And we'll definitely get into that later with one of our guests, Shanti Das. But it definitely is important to do something, during this time that, helps you to break up kind of the monotony of watching the news, all the tragic information. Not only is it, a health pandemic, but there's a racial pandemic going on, seeing our community being slain by officers. So it's definitely a lot to take in right now. So it's really important that we, discuss the importance of mental health, giving yourself a break, not being so hard on yourself, and just kind of doing those things that make you happy. And just kind of, it can be hard. It's depression, anxiety, a lot of different things. You may not know that you're dealing with it, but definitely a hard time. Terry?
Yeah, I totally agree. I just think that that right now is just another day of reckoning where people are coming to the conclusion that they can't just ignore it. It's not going to go away. The heat's not going to take it away. Ignoring is not going to take it away. And that this thing can kill you. And I think that people are now beginning to understand that the direction that they've been getting from Pennsylvania Avenue has been flagrantly wrong. And now it's time to take action to save themselves and their loved ones. So yeah, it's right now. It's just, it's just rough. It's rough out there.
Hey, King James, you basically just wake up every morning just looking for what's new today. Like, did I miss something today? Because I know the aliens came today. Something happened today. That's literally it.
Yeah, I mean, every day is something new.
There's definitely spikes. Numbers are definitely going up. A lot of places are, closing down. Beaches in Florida. A lot of places are requiring masks in public spaces. I know Arizona has shut down numerous, open spaces amid the coronavirus spike there. So it's definitely, going back to this kind of quarantine mode. So I think a lot of businesses might re-shut down as this, second wave hits.
Mm.
Now, the whole idea of just checking in with a friend, I mean, literally getting your friends' temperature on how they are mentally experiencing. Are you good? Really kind of probing a little bit if they're quiet, if you haven't heard from them, what they're doing, just so that we can support each other during this period, because it is clearly uncomfortable. And there's a level of uncomfortability that is on so many levels. I mean, that's the thing. It's complex. First, it was just stay home. Then if you go to a protest, you could get tased, and then if you go to Wendy's, you can get shot. Then if you go over here and play the violin, then you could get choked out. I mean, I promise you, it's like you don't anticipate the level of severity that has made it complex. And all of a sudden, now everybody's on mask, but everybody's been trying to get you on mask for months. It's a tough time. And then just being Black. You gotta decide if you're in the Black or are you in the Black cancel culture. And so you're gonna get canceled if you're not being Black. And then the debate about blackface. And then now you could have Blacks in blackface. So we gotta know if you're really for the culture. So it's a tough thing, Cass, to see people, because they're gonna be uncomfortable. Everything is under re-examination. Everything is being re-examined. The statutes are all about a re-examination. So if you're not re-examining, or you don't believe people are going to go through your timeline and re-examine where you were, or re-examine the number of Black people that you hire, King James, re-examination is where we are. It is part of what it is. So I think, spiritually, Cassie, what can people examine right now that can help lift them up?
Well, for me, it's, as a Christian, I'm reading my devotionals, I'm tuning in to services online on Sunday, definitely listening to some inspirational music as well. But you just have to find, what makes, what settles you. Practicing gratitude is something that's always important for me every day.
I love that. How about you, King James?
Yeah, I'm doing the same way. I'm just, basically just trying to practice Carrie's meditation efforts and to get away from the madness. Turn off the TV, go out for a walk, and do some of the other things that I enjoy in order to get away from the madness. Sometimes I just need a reprieve from everything that's swirling around. And, I keep getting videos of new police brutality, new cases of police brutality, and I just, I just can't even look at them yet. I don't even want to look at what happened to that boy in Colorado.
But it gives you the Emmett Till factor in his mom saying, no, I want the world to see how my young boy against these police officers ends up in a hospital bed. That's Emmett Till. That is her saying, No, I want you to know and see and always remember, history will record it. History will see my child in a hospital bed who couldn't beat up 2 police officers, who had no gun. No gun. Who had no gun. And the sad part is the level of no shame from those people who participated in it.
And I think that's the part that that I don't know, and I don't want to put this type of energy out there. I don't know if that's the part that scares me every day, King James, or Mrs. Steve. That's the part that worries me, because as you're watching these videos and you're watching people complying, and in your head you're like, what else do you want me to do? Like my hands are up, my feet are spread. You done checked me twice. I gave you my ID. I smiled when I gave you my ID. Matter of fact, I even patted you on the back, gave you my ID, then smiled. And then all of a sudden you go from 0 to 1,000, and it's so alarming. Right. It's so alarming.
Done.
As a young man. It's like, I see a blue light, and I don't know if this is the same for cats in the city, but I can definitely say this for the fellas. You know, we see a blue light, and then, you know, that tension kicks in quick.
Yeah.
We just trying to see what color is stepping out of the car first.
I mean, I don't want to do it at all. I mean, I think it's anxiety for everybody, regardless of race, you know?
Yeah, I'm not so sure it's just regardless of race, because it doesn't seem to happen to them like it happens to us. I mean, it literally.
I'm saying regardless for us, regardless of the officer's race.
Oh, ain't no question,
I'm in a car.
We know once they get that blue on, we all are there. You're very much right. When they got that blue on, they've been indoctrinated. It's peer pressure. It's the whole situation where you're there and they've taught you, well, you just follow me. You've been in the academy, but now you need to learn what's really going on in these streets. And that's the indoctrination into the shenanigans and the hypocrisy and then the murder.
Right.
So you're right, Cass. Very, very good observation, because, you know, Black people have participated, you know, in that.
Let me share this with the AM morning show. So yesterday, I went to go pay a traffic ticket in a certain county. I went to go pay the ticket, and once I paid the ticket, the lady behind the counter was like, "You're good." I was like, "No, I would like a receipt." She was like, "Well, the receipt office is closed." I said, "No, I'm not leaving this building without a receipt." She said, "Well, you got a receipt sent to your email." "No, ma'am, like, this is my fear. No, ma'am, you don't understand what I'm saying. I need a paper receipt with y'all stamp on it, so that I don't want anything to happen to me after the fact saying y'all missed this or did this." So I literally walked a block to the next building in order to get a receipt, because my quote unquote fear was that 2 weeks down the line, there's a warrant for a seatbelt ticket because I didn't take the chance to have a receipt. So just that whole process of me doing that yesterday took an hour, but it was an unnecessary hour, because I felt like if I didn't do it, I would be in danger of something as simple as a seatbelt ticket. Like,
you took the necessary steps. What you talking about? It's those are necessary steps, because you don't want to not have it, and they say, "Oh, we got an outstanding ticket. Now we got to put you away for that day." Yeah, no, that's it, and it's a problem. And for people that aren't thinking about it, you got to think about self-preservation for sure. Cass, did you ever listen to the City Girls? I know you said.
That's a transition. What?
I was really going.
You know, I heard you say I'm catching up. I really didn't believe it then, but I was like, you know.
Yeah, no, I didn't. But I just haven't. I don't know. I haven't been in that space. I haven't really been I don't know. I just haven't yet.
What do you think about Cam Newton wearing a different uniform?
Oh man, that's a lot of pressure going to New England. Like you coming off the championship. I don't know.
Yeah.
King James is a sports expert. I don't know how that's going to turn out, King James. Like, I haven't seen Cam Newton like really just explode. So, good question.
I mean, I'm not
What's
the
your
sports
call on
expert. Go ahead.
What's your call on it, Terry? What's your call?
I mean, I just think that I think it was time for him to go. I'm glad he got a job. Somebody was bold enough to hire him. Hopefully, he will go ahead and mow down that carpet that's on top of his head, and that he will at least make himself presentable. The capris, the wild hairstyles that look like I don't know, old matted dog hair. I hope that he go ahead and gets rid of that. Cam Newton, and I just think that it's time to go ahead and retire that and stop acting out and go ahead and be presentable and just focus all his energies into football instead of trying to be a fashion plate, because it has not succeeded.
Does he make an impact though? Does he make an impact next season?
I mean, yes, I believe he does. I believe he does, and I don't think that Coach Bill Belichick will tolerate the shenanigans that he, did in the Carolinas, in North, in Charlotte. So I think that he will just have to comport himself in a manner that's more in accordance to the way that they play ball, in the way that they. So I believe he's gonna. I believe he's gonna do well. I believe he's gonna do better than Tom Brady. But
That's what, 5 championships, 5 Super Bowls, or 6?
Yeah, but Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady is a geriatric right now, so he's an old man. In football years, Tom Brady, is old, so he's beyond retirement years. Whereas Cam Newton, he's a middle-aged man in terms of sports years, so he's actually just below that. He's still in his prime. He's only 32 years old, so in terms of quarterback football years, that's not gotten to senior citizen status. He's still in a physical and mental prime, so he should be all right.
Hey Terry, I need you to clear this up. So Rodney Woodward from Instagram just tweeted, "Hey guys, stop tearing down black men and deal with the matter at hand. That is his athletic ability." And we never said anything about his athletic ability.
And I never tore him down. And it's kind of funny. I mean, you could admire somebody and still they'd be subject to criticism. You know what I'm saying? So people used to accuse me all the time well, my best friend would always say, well, you should stop criticizing LeBron. He's from your hometown. I'm just like, so? Just because he's my favorite player doesn't mean that he's not subjected to criticism. And there's a lot of things he has done over his career that drove me crazy. And I said so on Facebook and publicly. And the same thing, I'm a big supporter now that I live in Cam Newton's hometown of Atlanta, or suburban Atlanta, metro Atlanta. Still, even though I'm a big fan of his, there's some certain things like those outfits. I mean, wearing scarves around your head and these big granny hats to the press conferences, and his hair just looking like, what is that on top of his head? What is that real estate on top of his head? It was grotesque. I couldn't figure it out. So yes, I want him to succeed, but I definitely want him to take a lawnmower to the top of his head.
Cash, is that a fashion statement? What is Terry saying? What do you think? Is it on his IG page?
I'm sure it is. I definitely want him to succeed. Like you said, Terry, he's from Atlanta, went to Westlake High School. So he's definitely, like a local. So we're definitely rooting for everyone out of Atlanta. But yeah, we've definitely seen, him experiment in fashion. I may not necessarily be fond of it, but I know a lot of, athletes experiment. We see this on the red carpets all the time, the ESPYs. you know, and maybe that's coming from their stylist. But I think it's just kind of getting away from the traditional suits that people are used to seeing. So I think Cam has gotten into fashion, and he likes accessorizing with his hats. As far as his hair, I'm not really sure. I mean, that's a personal preference, but I'm not opposed to, you know, athletes, you know, going into a little bit of fashion here and there. So yeah, here's his Instagram page.
Yeah, look
I'm
at that one on the right. I just, you know, just
sure and looks.
I mean, there's nothing terribly wrong with it, but I mean, if there was a point where the top was just it, I don't know. I just thought that more time and effort were spent into trying to promulgate an image and a style than he was trying to anymore.
You know what?
Than trying to put together a great season. I just thought that he lost his way, and we all could lose our way. I've lost my way before, and so, you know, I just think that. But I still think he got a great arm, a great quarterback, and I think he's going to shine this year. I think he's going to do his thing.
And shout out to Rodney and Rodney Woodward. Shout out to you. You're out. We will give you a pat on the back. You're right. He is a model citizen. He does teach young Black boys in believing in themselves. And Terry does agree that he's a great athlete. King James does agree that he's a great athlete. And you're right. But we're just expressing the fact of, you know, the presentation. Now, if Cassidy ever put me in that hat, me and Cassidy gonna fight, because Cassidy don't put me in that hat. I'm just telling you right now. When I get on the red carpet.
But I think it's about, like, fashion is about, like, the risk you're willing to take. Like, Munson, you're a hat connoisseur. You enjoy accessorizing via hats.
Was that a hat moment? Did that mean go to my hat?
That's a hat moment.
Is that like go to my hat?
I'm saying that's go to your hat. But Romeo, you accessorize with different hats. Munson accessorized with different hats. It's just the risk I think you're willing to take, you know, and Cam has explored, you know, different styles. So, I mean, if that's what he's into, hey.
Also, for Cassidy, Raquel Kern says music has calmed her. We've also have had at least 6 people found hanging from anything we aren't talking about it. All these people have committed suicide. And I think she was referring to the hanging deaths that you brought up a couple of weeks ago. And we're definitely going to look more into that for the Rolling Out report, or you can watch Rolling Out News late at night because they'll have it.
Yeah, right. We've definitely mentioned it. Lynchings. We definitely mentioned the strangeness surrounding the issue for sure, with it being deemed as suicides. So it's definitely very unfortunate, and we definitely have discussed it here on the show.
Yeah, it's a new and fresh approach. I mean, you know, the district attorney, you wonder about voting. It clearly says that we literally have definitely got to keep a focus on the DA. The cases, every case the DA turns down that could possibly be a murder is definitely something to reconsider every time, for sure.
Every time.
Every time.
Like in the most respectful way. If anything ever happens to me and they tell the AM morning show that it was suicide, y'all know they lying. Find me. Help. They lying.
Yeah.
So that's not happening.
All right, let's check out Elijah for those who don't know.
Definitely.
Let's go to his video.
Love and peace to his family as well.
Right. Big ups to his mom.
And Elijah McClain was a young man, was killed by police in Aurora, Colorado.
lot of questions. I'm confused. My hands are up. There are people peacefully. There's a violinist,
Seven.
and there's 5 billion police officers. What's going on? I'm lost. What is the police there for? What is like? Come on, man. Like that.
I think first we need to discuss the fact that this, happened to Elijah McClain last year. This is just getting publicity now. So we definitely want to make sure that people understand what happened to him. He was a young man, 23 years old. He was a violinist. He was this creative person. From what we've seen in videos. Okay, I wasn't aware that he was autistic, but I know he was an artist. He was a very kind person. People spoke very highly of him. And he was put in a chokehold by these officers, and he was obviously killed. So, the fact that nearly a year later, this is just being publicized is horrific. Obviously, people are outraged and taking to the streets. So we're going to have a guest that speaks a little bit about this later, but we definitely wanted to let you all know about this. And people are out, they're protesting. There have been these violent vigils, which we will discuss later, but it's very unfortunate, and even in peaceful protest, there's still, this violence that occurs because police, don't want this to go on. So it's very, it's a hard time right now.
And I'm sorry, and maybe King James can explain this. It's just that when you see the video and your heart goes out to the person and the people, the backdrop is the show of force. Like the backdrop is the show of force of 100 police officers dressed in black with nightsticks. For the purpose of what? Like, I'm playing the violin, sir. Like, the purpose of what? So that disturbs me a lot. That disturbs me the most.
I mean, they got an order from above to do that. I mean, the police department is really more or less like the grunts on the front line of a war. The grunts are not making the decisions. The decisions do not even come from the captain. It don't even come from the colonel. The decisions are made at the top of the Department of Defense. It's made in the Pentagon. It's made at the U.S. Department of State. So what I'm trying to say is that when you see these police officers and engaging in behavior that seems to be, foul, just know that, yes, they're acting out on some of their prejudices, but also the fact that the decision is being made from above them. So it might be coming from the mayor. It might be coming from the governor. It might be coming from the commissioner, the county commissioner. It might be coming from the aristocrats who live in that city who whispered in the ear of the mayor or the police commissioner that said to keep those Negroes in line. So this is a societal thing, but it's also layered. And so, you know what I'm saying? So basically they're just performing the duties by which they were told to do. They didn't, trust me, they didn't line up in all black like a military battalion on accident. They were told to do that. Police usually wear blue. So when they do something like that and that was sent down. Please break that up. Now, how they break it up and how they view people individually, yes, we can say that's we can go ahead and lean on the individual prejudices or racism. But the fact that they broke up that peaceful demonstration with somebody playing a violin, it's just like the bird watcher. How violent can a bird watcher or a violin player be? So right. that was just something sent from above to send a message. They don't want to go back into the past to reinvestigate, not reinvestigate because they never investigated it. They don't want to investigate this alleged murder of this kid in Colorado, because they don't want to be treated as they believe their police comrades have been treated in Atlanta and in Minneapolis and in other places recently where police are actually being held accountable and that their lives are being destroyed, and that the police department has record low, or the police department morale is said to be low in the city of Atlanta or greater Atlanta. So they're trying to stop it. They're trying to nip it in the bud, but it's not going to work.
Yeah, and it just really points back to the DA and how the DA's rationale to prosecute or really investigate begins the downward spiral for injustice. Literally, it's in the siphon at that moment. They siphon off the truth, and they make the excuse. And so obviously in this case, Cassidy Wright seems old, but it's not. And he's artistic. So then you've got a whole issue on how between his circumstances and him communicating and then them not interpreting, nonviolent situation. And then the whole idea or the reason, Terry, that someone called the police at all.
Right. Yeah. And what is the police doing giving him a shot? You people are not medical doctors. I just don't understand that. How these officers got off without even being questioned after giving him a shot. I mean, it was just like they were just, what do you think you're doing? So even if he was acting out, you put him in handcuffs. He's a teenager. There's multiple officers. So you put him in handcuffs and you take him to jail and let him simmer down. I mean, what is hard to understand about this, and how can you try to justify your actions? So this is the reason why they broke up that protest, because they don't want an inquest into what they did last year.
And all the behavior is questionable. All the dialogue that they've documented is questionable. He's artistic. So all of a sudden you're communicating, not even trying to have humanity, a human conversation. You're threatening him, talking about you're going to have dogs bite him. Literally, these details unearth the very character inside of you. And then to King James' point, clearly someone called who thought you should get rid of those people. It's questionable. So our presence creates questionable. It's always, we're questionable. The bird watcher was questionable. And she all of a sudden questioned the value of his rights. It's our rights that are taken away.
Speak. You have a gun, a stick, a mace,
handcuffs,
an electric gun, and then you feel unsafe. But like King James just said, if it's one quote unquote person of interest, and I'm surrounded by 3 officers who clearly have more firepower than Jesus Christ at this moment, what is your fear in me? What am I going to do against all 3 of you guys and all the components that you already have against me? You're right, Mrs. Steve. It's the approach. And I'm not saying all police officers, but I'm saying majority of them, they have the worst approach, because their approach is, you did it. That's their approach. You did it. So I'm just going to call for backup, and all 5 of us going to tackle this 180-pound person. Come on, man. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, let's go to your report, Cass, and see what's happening with Cass in the city.
First, before we go into that, we want to pull up this Aretha Franklin trailer for this biopic that Jennifer Hudson will be starring in.
Woo!
She'll be starring as Aretha Franklin in that.
RESEPC.
That was a great choice. That actually a great choice. I don't think I could see somebody else.
RESPECT. Find out what it means to me. What you want? Baby, I got what you need. You know I got it. All I'm asking is for.
How many albums have you had?
4.
And no hits. Honey, find the songs that move you. Until you do that, you ain't going nowhere.
RESPECT. Find out what it means to me. RESPECT. Say CAT-TCD.
Aretha, you do talk, don't you? Not just sing?
I'd like you to call me Miss Franklin.
to disturb the peace when you can't get no peace. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Find out what it means to me.
Perfect
I
choice.
think this is going to be really cool. I think Jennifer Hudson's an amazing singer, amazing performer. So I think she's going to do this amazingly. I think it's going to be a great, great movie. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm sure she's going to do a good job. I
Um,
mean, she's already won an Oscar already
Yeah.
for her portrayal in Dreamgirls, and that was the first and only time that I have ever seen reporters or anybody in a theater just stand up after someone got finished singing. That's the first and only time. I haven't seen it before or since. But after she sang her heart out, and I forgot the name of that song in Dreamgirls, and it was a movie junket that I went to in Beverly Hills, and the other people who were mostly white, they stood up and gave her a standing ovation to a screen, and they were. I mean, I had chills going through my body. That girl can sing. That girl can sing. So I expect her to do a really good job.
Her voice,
Perfect choice.
truly,
Perfect choice.
truly. So we can go into my report
You
now.
want to sing a little bit, Cassidy?
I don't know why y'all want me to be a singer so bad, but I cannot sing. You really, really want me to, and you want me to go after Jennifer Hudson at that? No, I'm sorry.
Oh, go for
I
it.
cannot do it for y'all.
No one will cancel you, Cass. Go.
Oh no, I can't even risk it. You the real singer on the show.
She said I'm gonna cancel myself
You are-
going out Jennifer Hudson.
I'm not even gonna risk it. But we can get into this report. We have some exciting stuff coming up for y'all today. If you are in Atlanta, some exciting news. If you're hungry, vegan is free all day. Compliments of some cool celebrities who teamed up together and sponsored this. Ludacris, Chris Paul, Gabrielle Union, and Lala Anthony decided to support Pinky Cole and buy out Slutty Vegan for the day for the city. So from 12 p.m. to 7:30, you can go to Slutty Vegan and you will get a free meal. Make sure you wear a mask. I'm sure the line is going to be ridiculous, as it always is on a regular day. But I think this is a cool thing. If you're able and you have time, get out there, get you some food. I would say go early. There's probably a line right now because people love Slutty Vegan. So this was cool. Shout out to those celebrities for this. Definitely want to keep supporting Black businesses. Up next, we have Virgil Abloh, obviously designer of Off-White, and he's over menswear at Louis Vuitton. He is receiving a lot of backlash right now. He was tapped to do the design for Pop Smoke's album cover, and fans are super upset right now. They're on Twitter going ham. They're so mad that Virgil Abloh did this. They don't think it did Pop Smoke any justice. They're talking about this looks like he did it in 5 minutes, like all this stuff. So fans are really, really upset to the point where the label has decided to not use this and they're deciding to go in another direction. So it's not looking good for Virgil right now at all. Up next, we have Ava DuVernay is deciding to create this Netflix series around Colin Kaepernick and his life. It's called Colin in Black and White, and it'll be a limited 6-part series. It'll kind of explore his adolescence, teenage years, and to the point where he is now and his activism. I'm looking forward to this. I think she's going to do a good job of portraying his life and kind of bringing it full circle. So I'm looking forward to that as well on Netflix. But it's also obviously June 30th. There are some birthdays today. So the incredible boxer Mike Tyson, he's turning 54 years old today. So happy birthday to him. And another amazing singer, Fantasia Barrino, is turning 36 years old today. So happy birthday to both of them. And happy birthday to everybody else celebrating today.
First
Happy birthday to you. Candles. Happy
Tyson
birthday. It's your birthday. Happy birthday.
What'd you say?
Birthday.
You said Mike Tyson is turning how old?
54.
Not the Mike Tyson that me and King James saw. Not that Mike Tyson. that Mike Tyson is scary.
Mike Tyson. Yeah, Mike Tyson. Yeah, he's still in shape. He's still, I think he posted a video. I may be able to find it, but I think he's still in great shape. So yeah, I mean, you got to keep up, as you get older. So
Just say, if that's Mike
he's
Tyson,
the athlete by training, so. Yeah, Mike Tyson is he's been in the gym.
He been in the gym for real. That's different.
Jim
Mike
is
Tyson.
good. Jim is good.
But definitely I appreciate that.
Definitely.
I'm curious on the.
Yeah.
I wonder what Mr. Steve thinks. I like Colin Kaepernick. I do. I just don't know how much more I can hear Colin Kaepernick. I'm curious about this 6-part. It's a documentary or is a film series?
Like a docu-series.
Okay, got you.
So it's about his life. So not just current
Well, it's
biopic.
talking about his childhood, so it'll definitely.
Yeah, so it's like how he got to where he is today.
Right.
Okay.
And so it's probably going to be very embarrassing to the mother, because his biological mother, who basically, sent him off to an adoption agency when he was a child, she rejected him. But when he came out and started kneeling, she wanted to come out and try to instruct him on how he needed to comport himself in public, which I thought was extremely, ridiculous, because of the fact that you had an opportunity to rear him and to nurture him and to teach him. And the time to teach him is not 25 years after you gave him up. You shut up. Basically, she was embarrassed to have him because, of course, his mother is white. His biological mother is white. And so she obviously had Colin Kaepernick with a black man. And so she gave him up for adoption because he's black, because she had 2 more children and they're white by a white man. Well, obviously.
Oh.
So she had 2 more children. So the time to talk about how you need to rear somebody or how they need to act in public, you had 25 years that you could have had raising him. The time to talk about how he needs to stand for the national anthem. No, not when he's already an adult. Forget it. Too late. You didn't want to raise him. You didn't want that responsibility.
Wow.
And why did you give him up and then keep your other 2 children? Let's talk about that.
And then they wonder where we get the trauma from.
Well, they wonder where see, these things don't happen in a vacuum. There's a cause and effect to everything. And people just don't, most people who are of sound mind do not just behave in a particular way for a particular reason. There's something that precipitated the way that Colin Kaepernick acted. And I bet it's tied up not only in police brutality and racism, but I bet there's some childhood trauma from the fact that his own mother gave him up. And then 25 years or 20 to 25 years later, you all of a sudden want to tell him that he needs to stand and America, you don't disrespect our military and this is America and and blah, 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 blah. No, shut up. It's too late. If you wanted to talk, shut up. If you wanted to really instruct him, you should have kept the kid. You should have kept Colin Kaepernick. I need to find out what her name is and what her face is, because that upset me something awful. The fact that you're gonna give them up for adoption. Keep your other 2 children. The next 2 children you keep because they're white. But Colin Kaepernick, you gave up. But you'd have the audacity to come out and say, "Oh, stand for the flag." Shut up, man. Go sit down. Have 2 seats.
You know what Cassidy know what it is. You know what the culture is. You're not winning until everybody sees you're winning. Nobody supports you on the grind. So of course she came out. She like, my son winning right now. So hey, it's me. I'm back. That's just the culture.
Actually, I understand where you're coming from, but I actually think that she came out because she was embarrassed because someone was whispering in her ear, trying to tell her, "Can you calm your son down? That is your son. I mean, I know you don't claim him, but you did have him. And she came out because she was embarrassed because he was putting her name into the national spotlight, because at the time he first started kneeling, everybody wanted to know who this guy is, where he come from, what his background. You know how it goes when you become famous. They want to find out everything about you. And so they found out that he was adopted. Well, who birthed him? Well, they got to the mother, the biological mother, and it was like, this is your son? You birthed it? Why is he acting like that? So she's embarrassed. I believe that she was embarrassed. First, that she had him in the first place. That's why she gave him up. Then she's embarrassed that she got found out, that she got exposed, that she's the one that gave birth to Colin Kaepernick. Then she's embarrassed because he's making a national spectacle, putting her name back into the headlines, because he's acting, in their opinion, he's acting a fool, and you're the one that birthed him. That's why she spoke out, because she was getting heat. She basically wanted to say, will you be quiet so that these people will get off my back? That's what she was saying.
Raquel Kern from Facebook says yes. Siobhan LeConte says, what Cass 54 is not old. Okay, well, 54 is not old, but it's there.
I didn't say he was old.
Shout out to Alphanet Garden.
Canceling Cass.
Nah, I ain't say he was old. I said he looked good. I think he's keeping himself in shape. I don't think he's old.
Hey, what you say, Muncie? It's literally that easy now. I guess it's Council Tuesday. Everybody's just going out.
Nah, not I. Next.
Oh man. Rolling Out AM, rollingout.com, Rolling Out Health IQ, Rolling Out News.
Health IQ, sponsored for sure by our friends at ARP. Clearly, Jennifer versus Fantasia.
Oh, Fantasia has no chance. I said it.
That's what I said. I said Jennifer Hudson, I think.
I think you did,
For
but
sure.
everybody agreed.
I just think just from the trailer. No, I mean, everyone doesn't agree. I think there's some people on Facebook who may disagree, but for this, I don't know if this is about singing or if it's about the role, but for the role, I think Jennifer Hudson is going to do Aretha Franklin justice in this.
What about singing, Cass?
I mean,
I think I Jennifer Hudson moves me more than Fantasia personally, but that's just me.
King James?
I mean, I think Fantasia has an audience among urbanites. There's a reason why. I mean, there's a reason why she keeps getting invited to concerts and everywhere. I mean, I saw it on Tom Jordan cruise one year, and she completely ripped the boat in half with her performance. She captivated that boat. She took it apart. Then I saw her again at the perform at the Harlem Theater, the Apollo Theater in Harlem. And she again ripped it. And she's a captivating, electrifying performer. So she has an audience. But Jennifer Hudson,
No, definitely.
but Jennifer Hudson is that chick. She's the one. She can sing, and she can perform, and she can act.
Both incredible singers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think both of them take it too far. They get a little Patti LaBelle-ish. I don't need my eardrums busted on every concert. I mean, every performance, but both of them really, really can sing. And I'm happy for Jennifer Hudson that she has rebounded and found some peace in her life after the tragedy that happened after she won the Academy Award. So I'm hoping that she's in a good space right now.
Who you got, Mr. Steve? Who you got? Vocally. I'm gonna be clear.
Vocally, I am truly a Jennifer Hudson fan. So,
yeah,
and I think all of Chicago is too for the individuals who
she is Chicago.
Have a love for her for sure. At the same time, I'm with Terry that I think the story of Fantasia and where she came from really made our community have a different appreciation. I'm not sure where they were going when they tried to point out her ability to read or not read. That was just not cool, but that's what they did. That's what they did. I mean, they tried
from both from American Idol. They both come a very long way. So we definitely love and support both of them. It's just a preference, like everything else in music.
Yeah, but Terry redefined the whole concert critique, where the artist now can decide: are you able to do Patti LaBellish? Are you not able to do Patti LaBellish? You know you're limited, Terry. How many times, Terry? You can only do one Patti LaBellish moment. You cannot do it your entire concert.
No. What I'm saying is that, and I'm probably gonna get some, some blowback for that, because Patti LaBelle is a great, great singer, and I do enjoy her singing. It's just some people believe that she has developed a reputation. She has accumulated a reputation of being a person who screams a little bit too much and takes it to the highest octave possible, sometimes a little bit too much. And so that's what I was saying by being Patti LaBelle-ish, in the fact that Patti LaBelle is a great singer, but it would almost be like Mariah Carey. If she always took it to, what is it, the fifth octave, the highest octave all the time, people would be like, you know what I'm saying? So that's all. But Patti LaBelle is a Hall of Fame caliber singer. Patti LaBelle is
Patti LaBelle-ish. They're probably gonna send you some patty pies. I would watch out next time you're on the road. They might be coming with some patty pies, because they. But
that's crazy. We're gonna jump into the AM social report. If y'all ready, we ready. Wherever you want to go, rolling out.
We ready. We ready.
So this is where we're gonna go with first. Now, I do not know who her team is, publicist is, or please a friend, but Doja Cat went on Instagram Live and she made the statement, "You won't find anything of me being racist." And this was after the BET Awards, where she was nominated for Best Female Pop R&B Artist, and of course she didn't win, but she just wanted to let the fans know live that she is not racist. Now, I don't know who your team is, but clearly cease and desist, sis. I like this. Just be quiet. Disappear for a minute. Let it go. Like, Cassidy, please call it. Help this girl, Cassidy. Get on this girl team and help her, because Doja Cat, I like you, but you're killing yourself. Next up, we got Kanye West. Kanye West and his wife Kim Kardashian, they were hanging out in Wyoming, and Kanye said, "You know what? I'm gonna release God Country." That's gonna be his new album coming soon, probably released next month. So get ready for some more Kanye West. Now, the question is, I know he's just coming off a gospel album. I don't know where he's gonna go, but we'll see. And everybody knows I'm a big ass kid. Cassidy fuss at me about that all the time. But Anthony Mackie, who is Falcon on Marvel Universe, says Marvel needs to work on diversity on the set. And he tweeted this out yesterday. Now, yes, I'm an Anthony Mackie fan. And yes, Anthony Mackie made this statement after 7 blockbuster Marvel films, where he is now going to be Captain America in the next film. My question is, Anthony, you 7 blockbusters film in. You could have said this on the 3rd blockbuster. You could have said this on the 3rd blockbuster. So,
well,
better
late than never.
Reevaluation.
That did cross my mind.
Better late than never.
That did cross my mind. That did cross my mind when I read the report yesterday. I mean, not your report, but when I read about Anthony Mackie, being upset or calling for more diversity on these films, it did cross my mind that if you're doing your 7th one, that's a lot of films to say absolutely nothing.
Yeah, but the King James, we can say we've been in the business. That Black people and stars have walked past Black reporters. They've allowed Black media properties to be at the end of the red carpet. I mean, we understand that they have done that too. We understand that there are many that don't come and will be interviewed even when they have a Black movie by a Black outlet. I mean, that we have to say it. I mean, we can't just stop saying it. I mean, there's more to be said. I think that's part of what's happening. I think the beauty is he's saying something now, because there's still those who are silent. There's still those who are not saying anything Black. There's still those who aren't posting anything about the injustice at all. They're still silent. They're at home, and we're watching you. And we're watching you. It's not going to change. I think it's kind of like the Confederate thing. Everybody just thought, oh, it's the protest outside. No, everybody is doing a re-evaluation on where you stand as it relates to justice.
Right. Well, we're going to see how this turns out for him. But I kind of sort of agree with King James, because he's in a position to where he's about to be the new Captain America. So I'm pretty sure that's going to run out at least 2 to 3 Marvel Universe cinematic scenes. So and it'll be interesting to see if Marvel and DC actually start being more diverse in their characters. Because Cassidy, you're not a Marvel fan, right? Are you?
Paint in the shadow.
Not, I mean,
I'm a Marvel fan anyway. Yeah, you made me sing, Cass. It's your fault. It is your fault. It is your fault.
And I was making that point to say, you can definitely, I know King James know, you can definitely count on one hand the diversity of Marvel characters on screen the past 10 years. You, on one hand, out of all the Marvel films, one hand, you can count the diversity of characters they had.
Yeah, I usually don't even watch any of them. They just don't interest me because I'm not reflected in it, and you know, it just doesn't resonate with me like Black Panther did. And
Black Panther.
They seem to find in this all Black film, they seem to find room to have a few white people on the set. In these most of these Marvel comics, they can't even find one Black person, just not even one. They can't find one actor, one producer, one cinematographer, one makeup person, not one. So yeah, it just doesn't resonate with me when they when you know, with that excuse. When Black Panther could find room in an all Black movie, you still found room to have white people in the screen, and I guarantee there were white people behind the set. No, there is no excuse for what Marvel is doing or not doing.
No, I'm not. They advertise with Black media companies.
Well, they don't do anything with Black people. I mean, other than Anthony Mackie to give it a little spook by the door appearance. You know, see here, we're not racist. We got Anthony Mackie here. See him? That's all. It's you know, they love to have their one spook, and I'm not calling Anthony Mackie a spook. I'm talking about the fact that they like to have it. You know, I'm going by the book where they have that one person to say that we're racially diverse, that we're actually doing something to promote diversity and inclusion. No.
And that could lead to a lot of depression. That could lead to a lot of economic trauma, emotional trauma for those stars, young stars, who have the same love for Marvel, but don't get love in return. I mean, that is an issue. That is a real issue. And that brings us to our next guest, who has taken a big step in making sure that our community understands there's a new awareness as it relates to mental health, our community, shame, doubt, and healing. That is Miss Shanti Doss.
You still. Shanti's so dope.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
Shanti's so dope.
Oh, thank you.
Shanti Doss dope. Shanti is dope.
It's good to see you guys. You look healthy. I'm happy for that.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, and thank you for being a part of our show and blessing us with your presence and your expertise and the things that you have been through and the things that you have accomplished in life. You know, well, obviously you're an industry music executive legend, a legend in the game. You went right to the pinnacle of the music industry as an executive, and you worked with many of the biggest stars in the world. And so I just wanted to know in this particular time and juncture, I mean, you've been through the music industry. How does it continue to move on in light of what's going on today? I mean, during these turbulent, precarious times, how does the music industry regenerate itself or generate itself to begin with?
Well, one, I think, certainly this pandemic has been tough for everybody, both personally and professionally. The one thing I always know about music is it has a healing practice in and of itself. And so whenever we've seen things happening within our country and our nation, a lot of our music artists are always right there at the forefront in terms of raising funds, raising awareness. And there's always, the intersection of art and activism, right? Or activism and culture. And so, whether it's been the nice, keeping everybody uplifted because music really is therapy, or just the BET Awards that aired. I really got to shout out everybody at BET because I think this was one of the best virtual shows that I've seen, but particularly even better than some of the live shows that were produced, because I think they did a great job of fusing in, right, the Black Lives Matter campaign, a lot of the racial injustice that we've seen, as well as just uplifting through song and through music, again, because of the therapeutic properties that music has to offer us from a cultural perspective. So I'm really pleased to see what a lot of our artists are doing. Even some of the more popular hip hop artists, I think, are changing their narrative a little bit. I love what DaBaby did. I love that Megan Thee Stallion, utilized her backdrop, right, in terms of power for the culture, as well as representing Black Lives Matter. And so seeing that level of consciousness being raised amongst the younger generation is really exciting. And of course, seeing, Public Enemy and Questlove and Nas and everyone being a part of the opening, which we all know what Public Enemy means to the culture.
They ripped it.
They killed it. So I think, we're seeing a conscious level being raised again. And I think people are scared, right? So the right thing to do right now is to utilize your voices and your platforms as musicians and creatives to really help be a part of the solution rather than not a part of the problem, and to really give people hope, let people know love isn't canceled, let people know music isn't canceled. And even though we might not be able to physically be in touch with one another, that we can certainly learn to support one another virtually, because that's the one thing that people don't understand. We've been experiencing, from a wellness perspective, not only the grief of loved ones, because I swear every time I turn on my Facebook page and I scroll, I'm looking at someone else's friend or loved one that has passed away. But we're also experiencing those symbolic losses of grief, right? The loss of finances, the loss of jobs, the loss of connectivity. From an artist's perspective, the loss of being able to tour, to be able to have that one-on-one, live personal connection with your fans. And so we have to learn to process through this. People have to acknowledge their feelings and accept them and process through them and learn pathways forward. So I love that artists are collectively doing a lot on their platforms to virtually support the community.
Yes. Before I pass the ball off to, of course, our publisher, Munson Steed, and to Cassidy City, I am actually Terry Shropshire. The Big King James is my alter ego, because I like to feel like somebody. But
and you're a legend too, so don't let people don't think that.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that, and I'll slip you that 20 after the show is over. But I wanted to give you a brief opportunity to introduce yourself, because nobody can introduce yourself like you can, about where you were born. You're an Atlanta native, and then you went off and did your thing and went to the top. Just give a brief synopsis of your career so that people have a context when we go further into our next questions.
Absolutely. So again, my name is Shanti Das. Some might know me in music as Shanti Shoestring Das from back in the day. I am an Atlanta native, born and bred in Southwest ATL, SWATs as they call it. I attended Benjamin E. Mays High School, went on to Syracuse University to major in television, radio, and film, and graduated from the Newhouse School of Communications. Ended up interning at Capitol Records my sophomore and junior year in Atlanta at the SEMA branch. So I did that for 2 summers with Keith Fry and Dee Dee Hibbler-Murray. And then once, I graduated from Syracuse, I got hired by L.A. Reid and Babyface in 1993. And the first record I ever worked was Players Ball. Went on tour with Tony Braxton, up for Frankie Beverly and Mays, did TLC and Usher, and the rest was history. And so I was at LaFace for 8 years till they sold the company to BMG. Then I followed Antonio Reid up to Arista Records in 2000 and became the senior director of marketing. That was the first time I think I started experiencing like emotional trauma in the workplace. And it wasn't LA's fault. It was just my other colleagues that I was dealing with in more of a corporate setting. So I stayed for about 1.5 years and moved over to Columbia Records and was hired by Donnie Einer, the chairman at the time, as vice president of urban marketing. And I went on to help launch the careers of artists like A. Marie and Vivian Green and Life Jennings. Also worked the So So Def brand while I was there. Shout out to Jermaine Dupri, who actually helped me secure the interview with Columbia. And then they formed Sony Urban Music, which was interesting at the time. We thought it was a good thing. Now, I don't know if that was just a way to kind of the Black folks into one pot and figure it out. But anyway, I became senior vice president of urban marketing and then ended my tenure in the music business as executive vice president of urban marketing under Sylvia Rohn at Universal Motown. And I forgot to mention I got to work with Prince on the Musicology album while at Columbia.
Oh no! Oh my God! Really?
And I did the marketing. I did that entire tour. Which was like a dream come true for me to work with the legend and the myth. He was all that I thought he was. And at Universal, I got to work with artists like Busta Rhymes and Erykah Badu and Stevie Wonder. I worked on a live DVD project he did. So it's been an awesome time and career for me. I helped to, I co-founded R&B Live in New York, which was one of the hottest music showcases for 3 years from like 2007 to 2009. Then came back to Atlanta, launched ATL Live on the Park, which had a 10-year run. And I think contributed a lot to the live music scene in the Atlanta culture and community.
Oh, yeah.
And I started doing a lot of community service work when I moved back home. I moved back home with a purpose, but I didn't really understand it. So I had a lot of my own emotional struggles. My best friend took her own life in 2014. And then in 2015, I came close to taking my own life. And I really dedicated my time to helping others understand that wellness should be a priority. It is not physical versus mental. It should be looked at from a holistic approach, especially for communities of color. And now Silence the Shame, which is my movement that turned into a nonprofit, is one of the most commonly used hashtags for communities of color. And we do a lot of work educating and empowering people to take care of their mental health.
Okay. Now we're going to move on to Mr. Steve with your question for Ms. Doss.
I don't have any questions for Ms. Doss other than to tell her I love her. I love your vision for bringing mental health in the forefront when you did. It was definitely at a moment that we had. I mean, to see Charlamagne talk about it and the fact that you've been out front, moving us forward, being able to at least look at ourselves and understand that our mental health is important. So nothing here at King James. I love you, Shanti. I miss you. I am always much respect for you. We thanks for coming. You're gonna have to come hang out, be our subject matter expert here. But no big questions. I just want the world to, if you haven't heard it, know that somebody loves you. And Shanti is definitely one of those. And if you're out there, some corporation looking for a movement at this moment versus just saying Black Lives Matter, our mental health matters. So definitely support Silence the Shame.
Thank you. And I just wanted to add that I started a platform also on my IG called Yeah Wellness Check-In. And I talk to a lot of celebrities about their wellness. And so as a result, I've been doing talks on the side with my Yeah Wellness brand for corporations around racial trauma and mental health. So companies, shameless plug, if you need a virtual webinar around racial trauma and mental health, I'm your girl. It will include a clinician of color as well. So let's do some work.
Let's do some
work.
work.
That's what's up. Casson City, did you have a question for her? Well, she's stunned by your presence. Cass, do you have a question?
Hello?
Yes. Yeah, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Well, Shanti, I am just, I'm inspired by you. I've known you for a couple of years now, but I'm just, grateful for the work that you do. You recently posted this prayer that I just loved. It was about stress and anxiety. So I just wanted to thank you for that. Because on that day, it was like, I really needed that. So I thought that was really important. But I definitely just want you to discuss, more about Silence the Shame and some of the things that you're doing, in the community. Just how people can get involved and help, or just get the help they need from you.
And I want to add before you begin, because you started this before it became in vogue. You know how a lot of people jump on the bandwagon once it's popularized. Yeah. You did it back in the day when it wasn't popular. And there's still a stigma attached to talking about mental health. So I just wanted to applaud you and thank you, because there's a lot of people out there that are hurting that you have healed because you decided to come out and tell your story and be honest about it. Now you can go ahead and answer your question, but I had to include that.
I don't know why you jumped in front of Cassie. I really just don't know why. You know, I jumped
behind her.
All the beautiful ladies. He just, I mean, I tell you, I can never get it. I mean, he knows how to pour it on. That's legendary.
Well, thank you both. And thank you, Cass, for that great question. Silence the Shame was started, as I mentioned, as a result of my own pain that I endured. I think for a long time, my dad, which I didn't mention, took his own life when I was 7 months old. And he was of Indian descent, but, you know, was raised, I'm Black and raised, my mom's Black and raised in the African-American community, but there's still a part of me that wanted to get to know my dad as well as the Indian culture. So I struggled with the thought of my dad's suicide for a very long time. So in 2015, when I did contemplate taking my own life, I started opening up more and sharing on social media. And I did an interview on B103 when Ryan Cameron was on the morning show. And I said, yeah, you know, talking about your mental health is nothing that we should be embarrassed about. And this was actually pre-suicidal ideation for me. It was just a lot of the stress and buildup that was going on. And I said, maybe we should just silence the shame. And so I took that as a sign from God that it was something I needed to run with. And then the following year in 2016, I got Nick Cannon on board and he started to support the organization. And then we formed the foundation and started doing more work in 2017. Jack and Jill of America Incorporated was like the first organization to give us our $50,000 grant. We did a 7-city teen mental health tour. You can go on our website and see the outcomes report from that. It was really great. We've done work with the AIDS Healthcare Foundation on helping to erase stigma in the Black community around HIV and mental health. We also are the 2020 Mental Health Charitable Partner for the NFL Players Association. So we're starting to do work with them right now.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, and you can catch our community conversations now virtually. We've done 6 or 7 of them now through COVID, whether it was living through COVID and the pandemic. We do self-care Saturdays. We offer free mental health first aid training. We offer suicide prevention training, and we're about to implement trainings, new programs around workplace wellness. And something that's near and dear to me, I'm trying to put together these entertainment boot camps around mental health so that once artists get signed, you know, labels can come to Silence the Shame and we can train their artists and their executives to make sure mental health is a priority when either they first get hired by the company or when they first get signed, or even writers and producers, you know, being able to work with publishing companies. I urge people to also check out our podcast. We have over 30 episodes up. We've had our podcast running since 2017. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, or SoundCloud. And then our YouTube page has a lot of our video content from the panels. Maybe there's a partnership with Rolling Out because we have not been able to properly push our conversations out there, but it's some really strong panels. So maybe we can repurpose some of that content to get our viewership up on our YouTube page because it's some really powerful stuff going on. And I just also want to add, I know we don't have a lot of time left, but July is Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. So it's important that we shine a light on, you know, communities of color and mental health. So maybe there's something that we can come back and do later in the month. And maybe
there's no maybe, Shanti.
Right.
We commit to being a partner during July. So that's done. So we don't have to ask about that. We'll do that offline. I need to have a conversation in Zoom about something, but count us in. I mean, that's it. You see, Romeo had to get online to say hello.
Oh, wait. I gotta tell you how dope you are because you don't even remember that you did this. Shanti is so dope because Shanti is actually the first person that gave me a major one of the first people that gave me a major platform at Centennial Park. I was the young dude at V103, and you and Greg Street was talking, and Greg Street was like, "Who's gonna DJ the park set?" And you don't even remember this. You was like, "Let the kid do it."
Aww.
And you looked at me, and I was scared as hell. And I was like, "I'm about to do it anyway." I just needed to express the fact that you don't understand that. I know everybody looks at you in a different way. I know everybody sees you in a different light, but you don't even understand the little pieces of like love that you give to people that pushes people forward to give love to everybody else. So I thank you personally for all the love that you gave me as the young cat when I was on my grind. I really do.
I appreciate that. Somebody had to show me love and appreciation, and this is just about respecting one another. And I think if we took that humanistic approach more in the business, even amongst our own communities, right? Whether it's, you know, Black people dealing with Black folks. Once we get through the Black Lives Matter campaign, I want us to also address how we connect with one another as African Americans and how we hate on one another and how we see something and we quietly want to hate on it instead of celebrating it. And instead of opening a door, we might kick it open or crack it open, but not kicking it wide open for people that are coming behind us. And that's something that, you know, I learned from my mentors and I tried to do quietly on my rise in the entertainment community. So I take pride and privilege in knowing, Romeo, that I can support people like yourself when they're just starting out. I don't want anything from it. I just think it's what we need to do, what we should do as a culture as we continue to lift and climb one another. So thank you, brother. Continue soaring. And that made my day. I appreciate that.
Well, I'll give you a call. We want to thank you for coming on, Shanti. Much love to you. Terry?
Yes, Shanti, thank you for blessing us with your presence again and with your expertise, and also with helping people how to deal in these very turbulent times, precarious times. People don't know what's going on or how it's going to turn out, and they're having struggles with anxiety and just a lot of pressure put on them. And so thank you for giving us a little bit of advice. I'm glad that you're going to come back in order to elaborate on this particular topic in another capacity for us. I appreciate that. So thank you very much. Let people know where they can find out about your book and also about Silence to Shame.
Yeah, so you can follow us at Silence to Shame on Instagram, at Silence TH Shame on IG and Twitter. On Twitter and Facebook. And our website is silencetoshame.com if you want to make a donation to the organization. Also, you can follow me at Shanti Das 404 and at Yeah Wellness. Coming up this week on Yeah Wellness, I'll be talking to Roxy Diaz, the TV host. Comedian Chris Spencer, and next week I'll be talking to Jeezy and Killer Mike. So starting to get some great conversations going. You can check out the past Yeah Wellness conversations at Yeah Wellness on YouTube. So thank you guys. I appreciate you. I hope you guys have a safe and healthy.
Much love.
And I just want to say one last thing. You know, as we know, African Americans are dying at higher rates, right? In terms of COVID-19, this thing is not over. Do yourself a favor, respect your family members, peers, and people that you don't know, and wear your mask, please.
Absolutely.
Thank you, talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Guys.
Bless you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Peace.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was powerful and that was needed. That was definitely needed because, you know, Black people are suffering silently. And we're dying in inordinate numbers, not only just from the COVID, but also from just the body breaking down because the mind is under so much pressure. And you know that when you're under constant anxiety, stress, and or depression, the body begins to act out. And so we're dying from a host of medical maladies. So it's good that, you know, that Shanti Das can come on and give us some advice. I'm glad that she's going to come back on in a different capacity to help us out and to deal with mental stress and how to overcome that. But anyway, our next guest is on. So Cassidy, take it away.
Absolutely. Yes, well, we have a guest, Lee England Jr. on with us today. I would love for him to introduce himself, the soul violinist. But please, you know, for people who don't know, we'd love for you to just tell everybody who you are.
All right, well, I am a multi-instrumentalist. I'm a producer, a singer-songwriter, artivist. I've been playing violin since I was 6 years old. And yeah, I mean, I've done an array of things. I've written string arrangements for, you know, some of the top artists. And I've worked with Quincy Jones, and I'm a brand ambassador for Michael Jordan. As a violinist. Yeah, it's a whole host of things. I recently just left Denver. I led the violin vigil there for Elijah McClain on Saturday. And I came back last night and participated in the one in New York.
So I wanted to definitely speak with you about this. We have a video clip from your Instagram that we definitely want to show from this moment at the vigil when you were playing in Colorado for Elijah McClain.
Mm.
And you got me making the face, man. You got me making the face over here. Like, you know when black people make that face, like this man right here, just yeah.
You're into it.
Yeah, man.
So I mean, this is incredible. Just please share with us how this came about and why you felt it was so important to participate in it.
Hold on, let me take my make sure that I'm all the way locked in because it's sounding crazy. All right, there we go. All right. So basically, a friend of mine in Denver sent me a post that said that somebody was looking to create a violin vigil for Elijah McClain. As we know, he was a violinist. That was one of his many attributes. And so I felt moved immediately because I really had been feeling hopeless or even helpless during this time as a musician, because it's like there's war going on outside, there's protests going on outside. What good is me being in the house creating love songs and melodies and all that kind of stuff? How is that helping the cause? And I really was having a hard time with it, to the point where I was just like, maybe I need to be doing something else so that I can be more impactful in the community. And when I saw that, I was like, this is it. This is calling to me. And so I decided right then, like, I'm going, but I needed to research it first. So I watched the videos with him and the body cams on the police. And then I started to listen to other conversations that were going on around it. And I was just like, yeah, this is where I belong. And so I posted the flyer as kind of a charge to all the other violinists that I know. And what ended up happening is one of my most dearest violin brothers, my friend, he said he woke up, saw the post, and immediately bought a plane ticket, saying like, my brother can't be there alone. And he felt, moved to be a part of it as well. And so I went down to Denver, and when I say it was the smoothest production I've ever seen, like everything came into order perfectly. Like what I saw and what I realized is that you always have everything that you need if everyone always brings everything that they have. Like there was so many little pieces that were just falling into place that it was, I'm like, this is how things should be run, truly. But yeah, I mean, and we created a little outline of how it was gonna go, set some intentions, and then just left a lot of space for, just the spirit to just move us in whatever way it was gonna do that. And all we did was just guide it. And it just, the results are, you can see them for yourself, if you just watch it.
Well, thanks, man. You've always responded to the brand. It was great working with you. we like to close out with you don't have to be in the streets, but you do have to be in the struggle. And I think what you did was the courage, because it takes courage to figure out when both you, God, and a movement say move.
Mm-hmm.
I would like for you, if you would, just to share what type of voice do you think we all need to be getting in the same courage box? Because standing up is what's happening right now. You got to get up.
Yeah, you definitely do. And, one of the real large ideas that came from being present in that moment was that if it hadn't been for the protests and the people being out in the streets and signing petitions and, forcing the hand of these, of the police and of the governing body in Aurora, Colorado, I would have never heard about Elijah McClain. It would have been swept under the rug. And so during this time, what I think is necessary for everyone to see is that no matter how small your part may seemingly be, if it's just showing up, that it is necessary for you to do so, because the strength is in numbers. The strength is in the spirit. And it's like sitting at home is not going to afford you anything but misery. You're going to be at home feeling away, just like I was. And from the other side now, actually feeling what it feels like to be in the streets. So before we even performed or did anything like that, there was a march and we just hopped out the car and just joined it. And just to see the camaraderie, to see that there are people who also agree that this is going on for too long and that it's time to stop. Like, it was way more other diverse races than it was Black people in the crowd. And it's like, I get it. But at the same time, it's time for us to also reinforce and make sure that we are present in those moments, because it is our voice that needs to lead the pack. Even though there are other people that want to support it, it's our voice that needs to be at the forefront of what needs to happen in order for this change to be on a large scale and long lasting. We can't just sit at home, and especially with COVID and all those things, just not being able to work in the same capacity. We don't have many distractions at this point, except for trying to figure out ways to, make money to sustain ourselves. But in the long run, it's a much bigger, longer lasting future insight and intention that we need to be, mindful of in this time, as opposed to just not doing anything,
I think one of the things that you stated that caught me off guard. You mentioned finding your creativity in the world now with everything going on. How do you, because the world is so heavy, how do you protect your creative space? How do you protect your creative space so that you're able to share? Because like you said, it's something new every day. It is you lucky if it's positive. You get lucky if you get one thing positive. But you know what I'm saying? How do you protect your mental creative space?
Well, I know for me, one of the first things that I am just on top of is allowing your emotions to be and actually feeling what's happening. Let it have its way, because if you try to stop it or contain it or bottle it, it's just going to come out in another way that possibly and probably is not going to be productive. It's not going to be so focused. So when things happen, it's okay to feel. So it took me weeks. After George Floyd, there was a time where I just I sat on on my couch and I was just debilitated, and literally there was tears that were falling that weren't necessarily even attached to a feeling or to a thought. It was just an all-day stream of just, because it's just overwhelming. And so, one, allowing myself to have that time, and actually just feel those emotions and let them out. I think that's first, but then two, so I've been working on a project since July. And the album is called A Guidebook for a Gentleman. And it talks a lot about like mental health and these spaces that you move through in relationships and that you move through as a young Black man. And it's very vulnerable and very open. And I was sitting here like, I've got this entire album. It's beautiful. It's orchestrated. It's something that's not been heard like right now. It doesn't exist in the airways because the way that I create is it's like a juxtaposition of like orchestra and opera and being in that world for so long, but then also like gospel and hip hop and just the current time. So it's like the perfect juxtaposition of those two things. And at the same time, it's not bound by the like limitations of what music is today. Like it has to be this structure. It's like, nah, it doesn't. And I'm just free in how I create my music. So I'm sitting here with this project like that's about, love and traveling and traversing through that space. And I look outside and it's like the police are beating us up down the street and people are walking and marching up and down the street protesting. And I was just like, what good is this right now? And in the back and forth ups and downs, what I realized is that, I don't know how y'all feel about spirituality, but I'm like, God didn't give me this message, this song, for it to not be heard. And so if that's the case, that, we always say like, God didn't bring me all the way here for nothing. Like, I don't believe that the talent that I have and the thoughts that I have about what I'm creating, that I should be the ones to stifle them. And so realizing that there is an intention and a purpose to what it is that I'm creating, I go at it with even more full force. And I had to fight past all of the doubt that this might not be what I should be doing and realize that, my whole intention of the album is to cause healing. I even changed the tuning frequency, and this is a little bit deeper, but I changed the tuning frequency from what it originally is and what it is in the rest of the world to one that has been studied to have a healing product. So I went from 440 to 432, and 432 is supposed to be a miracle tone of nature. So it's like there's a lot of depth to what it is that I'm creating. And so I had to push past all of that doubt. And in doing so, I realized that what I'm doing is necessary. And then to get up and go and be a part of the protest where my voice is like, cuts right through. At this point, it's just like being singularly focused, like not allowing anything outside of myself to dictate or determine where I'm going to go with my music, because what point is it to actually sit and think about like the many things that could be going on and let those things debilitate me and stop me, because who knows, what your music or what your creativity is going to birth, so the seed has been planted in me for years. And so I felt, like groomed to be in the space that I was in on Saturday, being out there just leading, like leading as somebody who's been in the crowd, and then being able to be up front and just, because I know what I'm doing. So creatively, I think that it's necessary for us to focus on what it is that we're good at. Like it's no, why would you go and like go against the current? It's almost like what I'm learning is just the path of least resistance is the path. That's your path, like it's your path, and being authentically you is like, that's like the.
But Lee, it's preparedness. I mean, I think moments, a lot of my creative friends, people I love have been hurt because they can't give their gifts to the world in the ways that they wanted to. Just got an album ready, you put all the energy in, and it can't be birthed. But there's also a moment of readiness, of professional. I work with you, our brands work with you, you're a professional. And I think that when kindred spirits find a purpose, and for all of us, it's peace and purpose at this moment. How do you work within the peace of the chaos and find purpose? How do you stay in the moment of reconciliation well, then you have to stay with peace and purpose. And so you're centered on some creative moment, and there's a kindred spirit that said, we both have and share the same peace with this instrument and the same purpose of giving. Because what you are as a giver, at the end of the day, it's a giving. At the end of the day, you being on stage for the crowd, soothe people that were in pain for the young brother suffering in his absence now. We celebrated his life, post-life. The fact that you still are and can connect through an instrument, and you gave love. So I just want to say to you, thank you for your continued giving. But it's also, at this moment, I think people want to hear from you. I think they're trying to get us to ask if you play something, because there's probably somebody that needs to hear. I've heard you play from a brand perspective, but I think the love that people are getting at this moment from even artists, because you're a face that's unusual. When you talk about Black orchestration or Black opera, all they know is Porgy and Bess. I mean, at best. When you think about opera, they don't necessarily think, oh, a brother with hair on his face and natural life. Where is that coming from? I mean, who would have ever thought y'all can play a violin? I mean, you know, the stereotypical nonsense, and when they want to pass for wearing blackface. Come on, Jimmy Kimmel, then invite Leon for the next 10 years. Put the Black violinist on there. All y'all that haven't had a real black face on, this is your moment.
Exactly.
It's your moment to put up real intellectual Black musicians. Did you hear what I said, Lee? Intellectual Black musicians, not just I'm a musician. I understand what orchestration is. I understand, and you study. So I think it's that kindred spirit that brought out. That's what I saw. And I think your readiness and preparedness that you have that's so professional. See, some people just say musicians like it's not a profession. You are a professional.
Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I was talking to another friend of mine about is that, like you said, like being prepared. I feel like a lot of the world is catching up to a space that I was already in. Like I had already started writing music for this time, but didn't know that it was for this time. You know, like even in creating the music that I'm creating, I have sheet music for everything. Like I know that there's an orchestra awaiting, you know, my song and such. So I'm just in a space right now where it's like the world is slowly making room for me. You know, that's how it feels. Because even with you know, Twitter going crazy, just now finding out that Beethoven was Black, I'm like, perfect. All right, so now y'all are like, oh wait, we do this too, like, you know, on such a high level. Oh, okay, perfect. So when I come through and say, yeah, not only do we do it on a high level, like we're still doing it, it's just like, oh, okay,
really,
okay. Yeah, like, oh, like, and what's interesting in that is, so the opening track on my album, I actually sampled. When I sampled it, I played Mozart into the track. You know, so it's just, I'm not Mozart, but Beethoven. There's a sample of his Fifth Symphony. I mean, everybody knows. Dun, 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 dun. So I put that in there. It's already there. So it's like I'm prepared for the time as it is about to open up. You know.
I do know. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah. What we need? What's going on?
You know they trying to get you to play something so they can hear
Can you play a little something, Lee?
Yeah, I need a second to turn like this part.
Turn it on. We'll keep talking.
All right, cool. Give me a second.
Okay, cool.
For everybody out there, you join Rolling Out AM, the wake up call, and it is a movement. This is all of you who know this is a gift. And we don't want to ignore the life that has been lost. It's literally, the conversation is about protest. It's about uprising. And all of you who are wondering if everything that you do anything small in this movement matters, when you post with a purpose, when you post to help and support others that are in the movement, It does matter. Every small thing matters. So I want us all to understand.
No, I was gonna say for Cassidy, I'm gonna make sure I come back because I was a killer on the triangle in elementary school. I was a killer on the triangle. So I'm gonna play that for you one day. I'm just saying, Lee, if you ever need a triangle,
I hear you, man. I hear you.
I used to play the clarinet when I was in 4th grade.
What?
So I feel you.
Now, all this time you told me and Mr. Steve
that you didn't have no musical talent. Long time.
Wow. You've been holding back,
No,
Cass.
I said I couldn't sing. I couldn't sing. And I probably couldn't play the clarinet today either. But this is a video, Lee's video we're pulling up now. We the People.
Crazy enough, that's Kevin Hart's song.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
In the streets, even let us see. They put the shit on TV. The revolution's being televised. I thought it wasn't gonna be televised. And I can see with my eyes, and it comes as no surprise that the media lies, twisted fiction up and televised. The revolution's being televised. I just wanna open up a conversation with the nation about some issues that I'm facing, even though I ain't create them. And I'm a patron of the laws, but I ain't make them. So if they ain't protected all, then why obey? It's time to break them. Yeah, it's time to break them. I'm not talking stealing cars or murdering fraud. I'm talking rewriting words to the Constitution, cause right now it's not worth being pooped on, cause there's some holes in it. It's got some words lost in the folds in it. A couple creases with some souls in it. Blood on the hands of those holding it. It's hard to read the fine print, so please define this. Who are the people? Make it make sense. Are we the people? I'm not for sure that we're the people, but if we're the people, then somebody tell me why. They're killing us in the streets, even let us see. They put the shit on TV, the revolution's being televised. I thought it wasn't gonna be televised. And I can see with my eyes, and it comes as no surprise that the media lies, twisted fiction up and televised. The revolution's being televised. I address the nation about the politics of hatred. It is not human nature to be prejudiced or racist. It's the system that we raised in. Power that we gave them got us living like machines. It's a new form of enslavement, and there can only be one word for what we've learned. It's absurd, we don't see no bigger picture. We all getting fucked over on this one. Let's ask the president his thoughts upon this issue. We pay for school just to get a job, just to get a job to pay for school. Real talk. We're the fools buying golden lies, only fools will buy. We don't recognize that even fools don't was meant to shine. We're the tools of our demise, taught to lose our minds. The dream we're chasing out here costing us our lives. Don't you see through colored eyes that every palm is colored white? Most similar than different, and they pray our and they keep us apart and planted little lies deep down in our hearts that blossomed in the prisons of thought. So what we call freedom ain't freedom at all. So please define this. Who are the people? Make it make sense. Are we the people? I'm not for sure that we're the people, but if we're the people, then somebody tell me why. They're killing us. They're killing us, yeah. Oh, they're killing us. Killing us in the streets, even let us see. They put the shit on TV, the revolution's being televised. I thought it wasn't gonna be televised. I can see with my eyes, and it comes as no surprise that the media lies, twisted fiction up and televised. The revolution's being televised.
Hey man, that's fire. Hey man,
That was dope.
he go to school to get a job, to pay for school. Man,
To pay for school.
Yeah,
man.
Mm-mm.
I'm putting that on replay.
Yeah, no, that was dope.
Yeah, man.
That was dope. But quickly, Lee, before you play, just kind of tell us a little bit about what this is about and why you decided to do it. Just briefly. We're close to running out of time, but I definitely want you to play. But I want to know just background on this video, this song.
Well, I wrote that in response to, you know, something that had happened before. Like that song was written maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. And so for me, it was like I was listening to someone like Nina Simone, who was just like, it's a responsibility of the artist to capture what's going on in like society. And so I was really having a hard time just listening to other artists because I'm just like, their music just wasn't reflective enough for me of like what was actually going on in reality. It's like, you know, we can boast and we can talk about, you know, all these different ideas, but nothing was potent and just cutting straight to it. And so I was just like, you know, I want to write something that, and the thing is like, it's not offensive, like what I'm saying. It wasn't like pointing the finger. It was like, I just want to open up a conversation, you know, about what's going on. And yeah, I mean, I feel like I might not be giving it as much energy as I should, but it's like the times are calling for it. You know, it's like the song is done. So I don't feel inclined at this time to be writing music. It's like catch up, you know what I'm saying? Like I've already been here. And I actually have another song that's, you know, right in line with that one, but I just didn't feel like that one had got its just due yet. So it's like, you know, it's a conversation. It's meant to call a conversation.
That's right. That sounds very dope. You definitely doing the work. So if you could just play us a quick little something, we would appreciate that. As we wrap up Black Music Month, we're excited.
All right, I'm gonna play best part. It's just this. It's what's sitting up here right here. So I'm just gonna play this.
That's cool.
See how we get outside. Y'all can hear that just fine?
Yeah.
Great.
Yep. Sounds good.
Y'all want to play the whole song?
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
If we had to give 2 seconds of a thank you and a tune, Lee, of 2 strokes of a violin or 4 strokes, how could we say we love you to the young man Elijah with a play? I don't play the violin, but I just know in this moment, and it's not long, but I just want our audience to know as much as the best part, the fact that his mother is missing him, the fact that she will always miss her son every day for the rest of her life, the pain that all mothers who have lost their husbands and loved ones to racism is such a moving part. So I don't know if it's plucking a string, but we do want people to know that we were moved. I was moved, Lee, so I don't want you ever to wonder, because I was moved by what you gave us and the fact that this young man gave his life and to the instrument. We want to thank you for coming on Rolling Out. How can we say RIP to Elijah at this moment?
I don't know, Amazing Grace?
Okay.
That works.
Thanks, bro. We love you, man. I know Terrence Pratt loves you too.
Oh yeah,
my brother from Chicago.
Yes, sir.
To all those mothers who are out there, Lee, you've given a lot. I mean, making the journey is risky, and we pray that you continue to be in great health. But thank you for standing up, bro, because we need so many more of our community. Just stand up just a little bit.
Yeah,
open the
it's
door.
like in any way. Like there was a girl who put everything together, was Puerto Rican actually, and she said that she had just been involved in the protests and the overthrow of some government officials down there. And she said the thing that broke it open was that everybody supported every creative idea that was coming out. And the thing is like, so whatever it is that you do, you have to just go for it, you know, because the more that people know that there's different ways that you can protest, then the more likely you'll have people coming out of the woodworks. Like, I didn't even know that that was a thing. Like for me, like I didn't know that me showing up with my violin was a form of protest, but I wanted to. So whatever it is that you're doing, whatever that you're up to, like, go for it. Go for it. This is the time. Test the waters.
Well, thank you again. Positive thought of the day. We're going to go with Cassidy. Then you can catch up, Lee. We're going to throw it to you.
My positive thought of the day is just to reach out to your loved ones, check on them, make sure your friends are good if you haven't talked to them in a long time, but definitely reach out and make sure everyone's good during this moment. Terry?
Yeah, my positive thought of the day, I like to use things that a lot of people know about or may have forgotten about. Just keep going, keep trying, and don't worry about failing. Michael Jordan once said in one of the best commercials I've ever said, he said, I've missed so many last second shots. I've missed so many games. I've messed so many things up. I have failed over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed. So just keep doing it and keep trying. That is my positive thought of the day.
Romeo?
I'll pass it on to Romeo.
My positive thought of the day, I'm gonna take a piece of what my man Lee said. Whatever you feeling today, feel it. Feel through it. Feel it all the way out. Don't let anything bottle you up to where those feelings get expressed in a negative manner. So you feeling sad, go with the sad. Happy, go with the happy, but just feel it. Lee.
My positive thought of the day would have to be, I want to speak to the people who feel like, oh, I'm eating, I got mine. Look, you eating, but you could be feeding. A whole different mindset. So like, look for ways to be of service.
Super. Well, Lee, thanks again. We appreciate you. We appreciate your team. We appreciate all those violinists around the world who are not letting this moment pass. Once again, we really want to RIP this young man who just brought to light the continued suffering that many have been ignored, many that we haven't heard. Those are the frightening facts, that if no one would have shined the light, if Lee wouldn't have shown up to bring more of a light, to hear more of sound, you know, because the tears and the invisible tears that his mother will wear for years will be real. So I want to say to all of our community that it is important that we continue to move forward. Our voices, in whatever chorus you choose, whatever key you choose, make sure, no matter whatever you do, you don't have to be in the streets, but you do have to be in the struggle. Check us out today, Health IQ at 6 p.m. Check us out on rollingout.com. We love you guys. Thanks to Shirley, who is definitely out there. And always, if we didn't get to your Facebook comment, but Lee, once again, it's been a blessing and a privilege to have you on Rolling Out AM.
My pleasure, man.
Wake up call.
Yeah,
Take care, Lee. Thank you.
All right, y'all.
So much. Peace.
Shout out to Barbara Fields, D. Turner, Lisa Baker. We love all y'all. Faith Morris, Melody Harris, man. We love y'all. Rolling Out. Check out. Kevin
Rolling
Campbell.
Out AM. Peace.